Okay, so this is going to be part one of an 8-part series on the preamp modules for the Seymour Duncan Convertible tube amp. In this first installment, I'm going to be talking about the normal, classic, low-cut classic, and low-cut normal preamp modules. Now, if you have a convertible, these are like the most common preamp modules right here, the classic and the normal. These are just little modules that plug into the sockets of the Seymour Duncan convertible amp. When you remove the cover, you just pop them in there, you can pull them out. Of course, you need to have the power off when you do that. Anyways, so I'm going to discuss a little bit about the circuits here. These are just your basic modules. So this here is the normal schematic, which I drew about 10 years ago, or actually closer to 15. Anyways, it's just basically a parallel triode with a series resistor on the input here. The classic is basically the same thing, except that it has bypass caps on the cathodes of the preamp tubes. Notice that they're also in parallel. So the bypass caps on the preamp tubes basically just give it a little more gain. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same as far as frequency response and so on. Now, when you look at the low-cut normal schematic, notice the only thing that they've changed here is the 100 ohm series resistor is now a 330 picofarad capacitor. And they do also add a 3 megohm to ground on the input here. Otherwise, they're very similar. And then logically, the low-cut classic module looks pretty much almost exactly like the regular classic module, except they've once again replaced the series input resistor with this 330 picofarad capacitor and the 3 megohm resistor to ground. Otherwise, more or less the same thing as the classic, with the exception of these couple of changes. And so once again, if you're looking for modules on eBay or whatever, these are going to be the two that you're going to find most often, classic and normal. I mean, they've probably made a bazillion of these when they were selling these amps in their heyday. So that will conclude part one. Part two is coming next.